The FBI sent a rather shocking message to the British royal family, revealing a startling fact about shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks, who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. Upon recovering his device and phone, the FBI discovered that Crooks had searched for and saved pictures of some notable personalities. Stick around to find out who they are. But let's understand the context of this tale first. The gunman behind the attempted assassination of Donald Trump used encrypted communication apps that authorities have yet to penetrate, security officials have said. Investigators have struggled to determine why 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks opened fire at the Pennsylvania rally, injuring the former president. U.S. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle, FBI Director Christopher Wray, and other security officials held a briefing call with U.S. senators on Wednesday to update them on the ongoing investigation. According to the New York Times, they have not yet found any political or ideological information to explain why the nursing facility aide carried out the attack. An FBI official informed the senators that there was no indication Crooks had any strong political views or co-conspirators after agents searched his home in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, as well as his laptop and 2 phones. However, Wray pointed out that the investigation is still in its early stages. Former FBI profiler Greg McCrary told NBC the lack of available information would pose a challenge for law enforcement. Greg declared the shooter a guy who is one of these almost invisible people that are out there. He further explained, "They're not on social media. They're not screaming or yelling about this or that. They're ruminating about it internally, whatever it might be. And they just decide to do this, which scares the hell out of all of us in law enforcement." The family of the shooter has distanced themselves from him, and understandably so. They probably don't want to be associated with his actions in any way. The shooter's uncle Mark Crooks told NBC he had not spoken to his nephew or his brother, Matthew Crooks, since 2019. He said, "You know, you can't forgive what he did. Look at what he did. He shot at everybody. He killed one guy and wounded a couple more." Shooter used his phone to find photos of Trump, Biden. Senators were told Crooks used the phone found in his home to look up major depressive disorder, according to the New York Times, which cited sources involved in the call. Hit subscribe now if you liked this video, because we won't miss updating you on any interesting developments surrounding the royal family. Now, let's get back to our story. He had also allegedly searched for images of Trump, President Joe Biden, Wray, Attorney General Merrick B. Garland, and a British royal family member, and looked up the dates of Trump's public appearances. The Butler, Pennsylvania rally was announced on July 3rd. Political media outlet The Hill reported Crooks visited the rally site for 20-30 minutes on July 7th. He also reportedly visited the site again on the morning of the shooting, which happened in the evening. On that day, Thomas Matthew Crooks stopped at a local gun store and purchased 50 rounds of ammunition, according to a joint FBI and Homeland Security bulletin. Authorities later found 2 homemade bombs in his car and a third at his home. The bulletin also noted that multiple packages, including some marked as possibly containing hazardous material, security flagged Crooks at the rally more than an hour before he started firing. They noticed he was carrying a rangefinder, a device used by hunters and target shooters to measure distance. Local police alerted the Secret Service about a person carrying a rangefinder in a backpack, according to Secret Service spokesman Anthony Guglielmi. The FBI and Secret Service briefing left some senators angry that officers did not intervene. Republican Senator John Barrasso said in a statement, "He had a rangefinder and a backpack. The Secret Service lost sight of him. No one has taken responsibility. The head of the Secret Service needs to go." But here is the shocking fact you've been waiting for. Now that we've covered the background, you can truly grasp the intensity of this disclosure. The gunman who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump also had images of the Princess of Wales on his phone, according to reports. Crooks, who was killed after grazing the former president's ear with a bullet, showed an interest in the future queen, as revealed by FBI analysis of his electronic devices. Isn't it shocking? If that deranged man hadn't been stopped, he could have targeted the princes next. NPR reported that this discovery was made after investigators seized the 20-year-old's laptop and 2 mobile phones from his home. The princess was the only non-American in his search history. Neither Kensington Palace nor the FBI commented on the reports related to the Princess of Wales. So far, investigators have portrayed Crooks as a troubled young man without strong political leanings. Although he was a registered Republican, he had also donated $15 to a progressive Democrat campaign in 2021. Crooks had also saved pictures of Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, and Christopher Wray, the FBI director, which led to speculation that they had also been identified as potential targets. He had also searched for the dates of Trump's speaking engagements, including the rally at Butler, Pennsylvania, and the Democratic National Convention. One theory for the decision to target Trump rather than Biden was that the rally at Butler was only 51 miles from his home in Bethel Park, a drive of 1 hour and 21 minutes. He was a light user of social media, but did have an account with Discord, a group chatting app. One of the Discord spokesmen said, "We have identified an account that appears to be linked to the suspect. It was rarely utilized, and we have found no evidence that it was used to plan this incident, promote violence, or discuss his political views." The princess, currently recovering from cancer, has no plans to visit the U.S., as her public engagements have been scaled back since her diagnosis in March. However, the FBI also reported no evidence of Crooks planning a trip to the UK. However, he did have the princess on his watch list. Last week, the king and queen were pulled out of a public engagement in Jersey because of a security scare. They later resumed the visit after it turned out to be a false alarm. Speaking of the Trump would-be assassin personality, Thomas Crooks didn't stand out as a popular student, but didn't fit the loser characterization either, some former classmates said. They remember the man who shot up a Trump campaign rally in Butler as intelligent, enrolled in high-level advanced placement classes throughout high school, but quiet and reserved. From what Tristan Radcliffe, Crooks's classmate, knew from him, he'd always come off as, for the most part, a friendly, kind of harmless guy. Radcliffe graduated with Crooks from Bethel Park High School, and then attended Community College of Allegheny County with him. When Radcliffe learned his former classmate shot at former President Donald Trump on Saturday and was killed by the Secret Service seconds later, he was shocked. Radcliffe said, "I just cannot see him doing that. I don't know. Maybe if I would have gotten to know him more, it's crazy." Crooks graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022. He then attended Community College of Allegheny County, where he earned an associate's degree with honors in engineering science in May. He and Radcliffe attended Abraham Lincoln Elementary School in Bethel Park together, where they were close friends but drifted as they grew older. Both men attended CCAC's South Campus together, although they would only speak on occasion to catch up. During these encounters, Radcliffe said he would often observe that Crooks couldn't seem to stay still. Other than that, he thought his behavior was normal. In December, Radcliffe said Crooks told him while on campus that he was planning to get all of his credits and transfer to Penn State. Part of Milford Drive, where Crooks lived, was blocked off by law enforcement Sunday morning and continued to have restricted access on Thursday. A police officer was stationed near the home. Police said they do not know how much longer the Crooks house will remain closed to the public, and that the goal is to make the community feel safer. A 56-year-old neighbor, who asked not to be named for fear of violence, said she has lived near his house for over 30 years and never saw Crooks outside until a month ago when he started walking around the neighborhood. She said, "When he was walking down the street, he kept his head down. You just got bad vibe from him." When Crooks was 17, he donated $15 to a group called the Progressive Turnout Project, which attempts to boost Democratic voter turnout. He then later registered as a Republican when he was old enough to vote. Now share your thoughts in the comments below about Crooks' mindset and what you think of him having the princess's picture saved in his gallery. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on cringeworthy updates related to the British royal family. See you in the next video.